In this video, I'll be answering the most common questions practitioners ask me about blueprinting, from the research you need to who you're including to how much time it's going to take. Question 1. What's the difference between Service Blueprint and Customer Journey Map? My answer is this. Think of Service Blueprints as a sequel to Journey Maps. The focus of a journey map is the customer and the user. You're using journey maps to understand what the customer is doing, thinking, and feeling over time. Now, if I extend that journey map to look at what the business is doing in parallel, it would be a service blueprint. So remember, the focus of a journey map is the customer, and the focus of a blueprint is the organization. In both journey maps and service blueprints, you're using the customer or user swim lane actions as your baseline. Question 2. What's the primary goal of blueprinting? My answer is this. It depends on where you are in the process and what you're trying to achieve. I like to think about it as goals along a spectrum of the design thinking process. In the early stages, you're using current or as-is blueprints to understand breakdowns and the problem you're trying to solve. Think of it like this: understanding current pain points, identifying opportunities, aligning on areas to focus. Now, as you're in the middle, the ideation phase of your work, you're probably using to-be or future state blueprinting to ideate new processes, prototype future changes, measure potential impact. And then as you move towards the end of a sprint or a release cycle, the goal of blueprinting is to provide implementation aids. Your blueprint is communicating changes, acting as a single source of truth, and benchmarking against those vision goals. As with any mapping method, you should be thinking about the goals in two ways. The goals of the process used to create the map, meaning collaboration, co-creation, and then conversely, the map itself, it acting as an artifact to communicate and direct. So to build on this question number 3, what fidelity am I working in? The nice thing with this question is you can approach it the exact same way as we just did with goals. Ask yourself, where am I in this process? The earlier you are, the lower fidelity you can target. Not only are things still likely to change, but you're really prioritizing the process of making the blueprint. And then conversely, later in the process, the higher fidelity your blueprint should be, since more people will be seeing it and you'll be using it as an artifact itself. Question number 4, who should be involved in service blueprinting? Here's my answer. Think of your blueprint as a checklist. Enlist a knowledge holder from each phase and each swim lane to ensure you have well-rounded participants and you don't leave out key parties. The composition of your blueprinting team should map directly to the context, scenario, and goals of your blueprinting initiative. All right, question number 5. How long does it take to blueprint? My quick answer is this. It absolutely depends on the scope of your blueprint. This is because the scope will likely change a lot of other factors, such as the number of people involved, the fidelity of your blueprint itself, the amount of research you need, stakeholder oversight. When we conducted research to understand how practitioners are using service blueprinting, we asked participants how long their most recent blueprinting project was. The majority of participants, regardless of their scope, spent less than 1 month conducting research and less than 1 month creating the blueprint itself. Regardless, here's my recommendation. Start small. Start with a small, focused scope that requires minimal and accessible research. You'll have the opportunity to become familiar with the method and onboard others to the purpose and process of blueprinting. All right, last one. The most frequently asked question I really get. How do we sell blueprinting to our organization? My answer is a 3-step protocol, so think a checklist. First, I'm involving stakeholders early and often. The earlier you can involve stakeholders, the better. For 2 reasons, really. First, they develop co-ownership early, and as a result, they'll go out of their way to help the effort succeed. Second, they're more likely to believe in it. Simply put, they trust the deliverable because they witnessed the process. Second, track success and use it as evidence. And third, translate user needs into business impact. Our job is to translate the insights from our blueprints into what it means to the business. Ask yourself, if we make this change, what effect will it have? Or if we understand this service breakdown, then how is it actually going to affect our business, meaning time, money, resources, satisfaction? When presenting why you want to blueprint your organization, clearly identify and communicate the impact it will bring to the business in business-focused terms. If you still want to learn more, I have so many free resources, articles, and research published on service blueprinting on mngroup.com.